Terry.
No fucking shit!
Welcome back, baseball fans. Four Friends 1679 here, and today we'll be addressing a glaring hole in my previous video series of all-time teams. If you haven't seen my previous video series of all-time teams, what are you waiting for? Go check them out. My channel is called Cigarettes and Bubblegum. You can find it at Four Friends 1679. Watch, like, subscribe, and help me get it on the map. For those who have been following my content, you may have noticed that I never bothered to name any managers. It dawned on me about 6 or 7 videos in that I should have been naming a manager for each team. Full coaching staff would be overkill, but the main guy, yeah, I really should have done that. But as I was already underway, I decided I'm going to keep the format consistent and make a whole video of just managers after the league was completed. And so here we are. Obviously, there is no brief history of the franchise with this, and there is no war equivalent to use for selection. So for this list, it's entirely subjective, not something you're going to get from me very often. And I suppose I should say that I tried to balance tactical abilities and results with character and the entertainment factor. And all the way down the list, there's definitely a bit of both. I made an effort to never use the same manager twice, although there was one case where it was, without question, unavoidable. Now, without further ado, let's talk about all-time managers. For the Baltimore Orioles, a fan favorite, the irascible number 4, Earl Weaver. Weaver's Orioles won the championship in 1970, the winningest AL team of the 1970s. He brought home 3 more pennants, and in his 17-year career, won his division 6 times and never had a losing record until his final year, 1986, with a team that was in desperate need of a rebuild. And of course, no one was better at arguing with an umpire.
Behind the rubber! Oh, bullshit! Bullshit yourself! You're here, and this crew is here just to fuck us! Yeah! Boom! Good! That's great! And you shut it! You shit! You couldn't wait to get me out of here! You run yourself, Earl! You run yourself! Finger off! You hit me? Yeah, because you put your finger on me! I'm glad you hit me. That's right! You're here for one goddamn specific reason! What's that, Earl? To fuck us!
Weaver had a lifetime record of 1480 and 1060 with the O's and was inducted to the Hall of Fame in 1996. His representative season is 1970 when his team went 108 and 54 and won the World Series over the early prototype Big Red Machine Cincinnati Reds. For the Boston Red Sox, I've got to go with the guy who broke an 86-year-long World Championship drought, breaking the infamous curse of the Bambino and then following up with a second just 3 years later, number 47, Terry Francona. Tito not only broke the curse, but is one of only 2 managers in Red Sox history to win 2 World Series. Francona had a lifetime record of 744 and 552 with the Red Sox with 5 postseason runs in 8 years. His representative season gotta be 2004 with a 98 and 64 record, and of course, the almost forgotten sweep of the St. Louis Cardinals after their unforgettable comeback from being down 0-3 in the ALCS over the New York Yankees. For the New York Yankees, one of both the most knowledgeable and quotable figures in all of baseball history, the old professor, number 37, Casey Stengel. Stengel led the Yankees to 7 world championships and a trio of league pennants in just 12 years. That's right, in his run with the Yankees, he missed the World Series only twice, and in one of those years, his team won a personal high 103 games. Stengel rang up an 1149 and 696 record with the Yankees. He was inducted to the Hall of Fame in 1966, and his number was retired in 1970. His seasons are all basically interchangeable, but for his representative season, I'm going with 1953, when his boys went 99 and 52, winning their 3rd straight World Series over the crosstown rivals, Brooklyn Dodgers. For the Tampa Bay Rays, it was a close call, but I went with the manager who had the most wins, the best record, and the most recent pennant, even if there was a questionable pitching choice in the World Series that year, number 16, Kevin Cash. Cash won that pennant in the plague-shortened 2020 season. He led the Rays to an overall record of 896 and 784 and has made 5 postseason runs in total. For his representative season, I feel like 2020 has an asterisk on it, so we'll go with 2021. That year his team went 162, the only 100-win season in the club's history, winning their division but losing in the division series to the Boston Red Sox. The Toronto Blue Jays are a relatively easy team to decide, and I'm going with 2-time world champion, number 43, Cito Gaston. Gaston won back-to-back World Series in 1992 and 1993 after a division win in 1991. He has the most wins in club history with an .894 and .837 record overall, and his number was retired in 1999. In his representative season of 1992, his Blue Jays went 96 and 66 and won the first World Championship in club history over the Atlanta Braves. Heading the Chicago White Sox, a lot of folks may not like him, but he did break an even longer World Series drought than the one the Red Sox saw. Number 13, Ozzie Guillen. Guillen led Chicago to a .678 and .617 record. His representative season was 2005 when his team went 99 and 63 and won their first World Series in 88 years over the Houston Astros. The Cleveland Indians were a bit of a puzzle, with no championships since 1948 and few solid eras outside of the late 90s. But we'll be tapping 1950s skipper number 8, Al Lopez. Lopez is the first manager on the list without a world championship to his name, but he rang up a .570 and .354 record, and his .617 winning percentage is the best in club history. He was inducted to the Hall of Fame in 1977. His representative season is 1954, when his tribe earned both a decade's best and team record 111 wins against 43 losses, capturing the pennant but ultimately falling in the World Series to Willie Mays and the New York Giants. My hometown Detroit Tigers are helmed by a fan favorite, number 11, Sparky Anderson. Anderson fired up his team to a record 1,331 wins against 1,248 losses. He was inducted to the Hall of Fame in 2000, and the Tigers retired his number in 2011. His representative season is 1984, when he steered the Tigers to a decade-best and team record 104 wins against 58 losses, bowling over the mismatched San Diego Padres in the World Series. A sentimental choice for the Kansas City Royals, number 10, Dick Howser. After a pair of division wins, it was Howser who brought the Royals their first world championship. Unfortunately, he was able to finish the following season due to confusion and passed away in 1987 from a brain tumor. Howser guided the Royals to a .404 and .365 record, and the Royals retired his number in 1987. His representative season is 1985, when the Royals went 91 and 71, and, with a small assist from umpire Don Deckinger, took home the World Championship over their in-state rival St. Louis Cardinals. For the Minnesota Twins, it's the team's only two-time world champion, number 16, Tom Kelly. Kelly was known for maintaining a family-like atmosphere in Minnesota and ran up an 1,140 to 1,244 record, and the Twins retired his number in 2012. His representative season proved that his 1987 ring wasn't an anomaly. In 1991, the Twins put up a 95 and 67 record and won the World Series over the Atlanta Braves. Game 7 that year ranks among the greatest games of all time, with Hall of Famer Jack Morris throwing a 10-inning shutout to beat Hall of Famer John Smoltz. For the Houston Astros, I'm tapping a guy who, after a long run of near misses and questionable postseason decisions, finally brought home that world championship, and it was not tainted by trash cans. Number 12, Dusty Baker. Baker made the postseason every year with the club, adding a pennant, a division win, and a wild card to his resume, and earning a .320 and .226 record overall with Houston. His representative season is 2022, his team that year going 106 and 56 and winning the World Series over the Philadelphia Phillies. Do you remember when the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim, California were actually good? Well, number 14, Mike Scioscia, remembers. He was there for the club's only world championship, as well as 6 other division wins in his 19-year tenure, by far the longest in club history. Scioscia's record with the Angels was 1650 and 1428. His representative season is 2002, when the Angels flew to a 99 and 63 record, taking the World Series from Barry Bonds and the San Francisco Giants. As I mentioned in their video, the Oakland Athletics franchise has had several mini dynasties throughout their history, run by several different Hall of Fame managers. But really, for the A's, can we really go with anyone other than Connie Mack? I mean, is this even a question? Mack helmed the Philadelphia Athletics for 50 years, an all-time record, finally stepping down at age 87, also a record, winning 3,582 games, a record before even including his brief stint with the Pirates, and losing 38-14, also a record. Mack guided his team to 5 world championships and 4 league pennants and was inducted to the Hall of Fame in 1939, 11 years before stepping down as the A's manager. His representative season is 1931, when his boys went 107 and 45 and won the World Series over the St. Louis Cardinals. They're coming off a frustrating near-miss season, but for the Seattle Mariners, I'm going with the fiery number 14, Lou Piniella. Piniella led the Mariners to their franchise's first postseason and added 3 more before he was done. After losing 3 Hall of Fame, or at least Hall of Fame caliber players in 3 years, in his representative season of 2001, Piniella's team won a league record 116 games against 46 losses, but was unfortunately bounced by the New York Yankees in the ALCS. But come on, was anybody better at stealing a base?
Has a heck of a lot of passion. Trying so hard to win as many games as he can. Now he's going to pick up the first base bag and toss it. Down the right field side, he may heave it one more time. Lou putting on quite a show. And he tosses it again farther down the right field line. He goes after the hat. His poor hat has been taking a beating.
The Texas Rangers finally managed to take home their first World Championship in 2023, but that guy is going to go somewhere else. So I'm going with the winningest manager in club history, number 38, Ron Washington. Wash managed a pair of pennant winners, including the first in franchise history, and turned in a .664 and .611 record in his 8 years in Arlington. For his representative season, we'll go with 2011, when his Rangers went 96 and 66, winning the pennant but falling to Albert Pujols and the St. Louis Cardinals in the World Series. The Atlanta Braves. Wow, the Atlanta Braves. By far the easiest choice in this entire list. Because while the Braves did win a pair of World Series in Boston and Milwaukee, 1 each, I'm betting you can't even name the manager from either of those 2 teams. And they've otherwise had long stretches of being absolutely terrible before number 6, Bobby Cox, came along. Cox took the reins of a last-place team and guided them to the next 14 postseasons, a streak broken only by the cancellation of the playoffs in 1994, a year in which they held the wild card spot on the day the season ended. Cox brought Atlanta its first World Championship and tacked on 4 additional league pennants. He rang up a 21-49 and 17-09 record over a quarter century in Atlanta, spanning 2 stints at the helm. He was also ejected 141 times, a record even before adding in 21 more from when he managed the Blue Jays. The Braves retired his number in 2011 and he was inducted to the Hall of Fame in 2014. His representative season is 1995. The Braves went 90 and 54 in the strike-shortened season and defeated an absolutely stacked Cleveland Indians team in the World Series. The Miami Marlins had a couple of decent choices, but I'm going with the soft-spoken, chain-smoking number 4, Jim Leyland. Mumbles led his team to the club's first World Championship in just their 5th year in the league, a record at the time, before being absolutely sabotaged by ownership the following year, and then leading their team to the worst season in franchise history. Not his fault, though. Go read about the 1998 Marlins sometime. In his brief 2-year tenure, Leyland put up a 146 and 178 record, and he was inducted to the Hall of Fame in 2024. Obviously, his representative season is 1997, when the Fish went 92 and 70, taking the World Series from a heavily favored Cleveland Indians team. The New York Mets saw an amazing mini-dynasty in the late 1980s under number 5, Davey Johnson. For the record, to this day, I hate these Mets more than any other team, including the New York Yankees. They saw just 1 World Championship and another division win under Johnson, but after finishing last in 1983, once Johnson was at the helm, they never finished lower than second from 1984 to 1990, and then famously collapsed after he left. Johnson's overall record in New York was .595 and .417. His representative season is 1986, when the Mets won both the franchise and decade-best 108 games with 54 losses and won the World Series over 13-year-old me's Boston Red Sox, which is why I hate them to this day. The Philadelphia Phillies have won only a pair of World Championships in their incredibly long history, and one of those 2 was under the leadership of the winningest manager in club history, number 41, Charlie Manuel. Manuel added a league pennant to the World Championship and rang up a .780 and .636 record overall. His representative season of 2008 saw the Phillies go 92 and 70 and defeat the Tampa Bay Rays in that team's first World Series. The Washington Nationals do have a recent World Series win, but basically nothing but last place finishes ever since. So instead, we're tapping the franchise's winningest manager, number 17, Felipe Alou. Alou was cheated of the opportunity to manage the Expos in a World Series when the owners began a lockout, canceling the postseason in 1994. Alou's overall record was .691 and .717, but when his representative season of 1994 ended, his Expos had the best record in baseball at 74 and 40, and his number was retired at the Expos Fest Gala in 2025. The Chicago Cubs are not represented by their winningest manager, not even close, but number 70, Joe Maddon, did manage to break a 70-year pennant and 108-year World Series drought. Overall, Maddon led the Cubbies to a .471 and .339 record. His representative season is 2016, when Chicago went 103 and 58, winning their first World Series since the first Roosevelt administration over the Cleveland Indians. For the Cincinnati Reds, we're recognizing the only man to be named to helm two different teams, but there really is no other choice. But once again, number 10, Sparky Anderson. Anderson managed the Big Red Machine to 2 world championships, a pair of league pennants, and a division win over his 9-year tenure, including a trio of 100-win seasons. His overall record in Cincinnati was .863 and .586. He was inducted to the Hall of Fame in 2000, and his number was retired in 2010. A bit of debate over his representative season, but I'm going with 1975, when the Big Red Machine won a franchise and decade best 108 games against 54 losses, winning what many consider to be the greatest World Series ever played over my Boston Red Sox. He wasn't there for long, but the Milwaukee Brewers became known as Harvey's Wallbangers under number 32, Harvey Kuenn. Kuenn took over a struggling team in early 1982 and managed them to the franchise's first league pennant. Overall, Kuenn managed a .160 and .118 record, and in his representative season of 1982 worked a .72 and .43 record, winning the pennant but falling to the St. Louis Cardinals in the World Series. The grand old man of the Pittsburgh Pirates is number 40, Danny Murtaugh. Murtaugh won a pair of World Series more than a decade apart, putting up an 1,115 and .950 record over the 15 years, spanning 4 separate stints with the club. For his efforts, the Bucks retired his number in 1977. His representative season was a tough call and could honestly have gone either way, but I'm choosing 1960, when the Pirates went 95 and 59, winning the World Series over the New York Yankees on Bill Mazeroski's walk-off home run. The St. Louis Cardinals have been one of the most successful franchises in National League history, and there have been several really solid candidates, but I'm going with the innovator, number 10, Tony La Russa. La Russa won 2 world championships, a league pennant, and 5 division wins in St. Louis. His overall record was .1408 and .1182, and for his efforts, the Cardinals retired his number in 2012. He really showed off his tenacity in his representative season of 2006 when he steered a busted-up Cardinals team to a mere 83 and .78 record, but took home the World Series trophy over my hometown Detroit Tigers. The Arizona Diamondbacks won their lone world championship in just their 4th year of operation, a record that stands today under the guidance of number 1, Bob Brenly. Brenly followed that up with another division win and turned in a .303 and .262 record overall. 2001 was his representative season, of course, and the D-backs went 92 and .70, going on to beat Mariano Rivera and the New York Yankees in a historic World Series upset. The Colorado Rockies have played in just a single World Series so far, and it was under number 13, Clint Hurdle. Hurdle has the 2nd most wins in club history and a better winning percentage than the guy in front of him at .534 and .625. His representative season was 2007 when the Rockies went 90 and .73, taking their wild card berth all the way to the league pennant, but ultimately falling to my Boston Red Sox. The Los Angeles Dodgers have a long and storied history with more than a few colorful characters along the way, but only one guided them to 4 world championships, including the club's first World Series win and 3 league pennants on top of that. So we're going with number 24, Walt Alston. Alston won a team record 2,040 games against 16-13 losses over 23 years, also making him the longest tenure manager on the team as well. His number was retired in 1977, and he was inducted to the Hall of Fame in 1983. A sentimental choice for his representative season, 1955, when Dem Bums went 98 and 55 and won the club's first world championship over Mickey Mantle and the New York Yankees. In the San Diego Padres video, I talked about them occasionally punching above their weight, and this happened more often with 3 division wins and a league pennant under number 15, Bruce Bochy. Bochy was far and away the winningest manager in club history with a .951 and .975 record over 12 years, also the longest tenure by a fair margin. His representative season is 1998 when the Padres went 98 and 64, winning the pennant but unfortunately running smack into the winningest New York Yankee team of all time in the World Series. The San Francisco Giants are another team with a long and successful history and a few colorful characters to name, but there really can be no one other than 7-time National League champion and 3-time world champion John McGraw. I joked in the past about McGraw chickening out of the 1904 World Series against my Boston Americans, but there is no denying his influence and importance to the game and this franchise. McGraw posted a .2583 and .1790 record, making him far and away the winningest manager in team history. He was inducted to the Hall of Fame in 1937, and the team honored his legacy, retiring his numberless jersey in 1988. His representative season is 1905, when New York went 105 and 48 and won the World Series over Connie Mack and the Philadelphia Athletics. And there you go, managers for each roster. Hit me up in the comments with anyone you think I missed. For my part, honorable mentions would include Hall of Famers Leo Durocher, Whitey Herzog, Dick Williams, and Tommy Lasorda, and maybe a dishonorable mention of sorts for one of the game's truly volatile but most entertaining characters, Billy Martin. If you're still here, you must be enjoying yourself, so be sure to like and subscribe if you haven't already. And until next time, have fun yelling at the umpires.